This video is brought to you by patreon.com/worsttake. Get access to exclusive live streams and Discord servers, on-screen shoutouts, and early access to some videos when you join now. Help make sure that we can continue to make content like this by supporting the Patreon. Links are in the description down below. All this beef going around, and I'm just gonna let you know, G, I hope it never comes to this, but if we ever have to have diss tracks against each other, I'm coming for, I got 4-5 bars for them hats. I got 4-5.
Listen, listen, man, sometimes, if it really comes to that, man, we need to start like, we could start a fake beef, and we could just do blogs for blogs, right? Like, we could really ignite the internet, right? You know what I'm saying? We do diss records, and then, who really does that? Who really does that?
I am not no fake beef kind of guy. That is not how I like to get down. No.
Yeah, the fake joints. But I will say, though, man, hip hop is very entertaining right now. Hip hop is very entertaining right now.
And you know why it's entertaining? Because the beef ain't fake. I don't got beef with your hat, man. I gotta know where you keep all them goddamn hats. That's what I gotta know. You got a whole closet for your hats? Like, is there a hat room? Do you have like a part of your house that look like a lids?
No, I am looking at some displays though. Like, you know what I'm saying? I do got a lot of hats. They are in one little closet area, so they be in there hanging on like this little hook or whatever. But you know what?
I gotta give you credit too, because every single one of your hats look like you take care of them. So, like, what was your hat maintenance plan? Like, you brush your hats? Do you got hat hooks? Like, how do you go about cleaning them?
There is a hat hook, man. Like, there's a, and listen, I get it hard from like, I'm a Scorpio, right? And most of what I do is based off insecurity and things I didn't get when I was younger. So, like, my mom, when I was younger, was like, yo, like, if you really doing something, you always got to have a hat. You got to do it head to toe. Don't come in here with no like starter jacket, but you got Adidas shoes on at the time. Like, nobody's wearing Adidas. You got to have the J's with them too. And if you got Jordans on, you got to have something Nike on. Don't come with no Reebok hat, a starter coat. Listen, you false flagging out here, bro. All one. So to me, like, don't do it.
Wait, so you pushing clothing brand tribalism?
Oh yes, to the fullest. Don't come out here with Reebok. And listen, we used to get. I learned.
Wait. Time out. When's the last time you see anybody come out of anywhere with Reeboks on? Are they back? I got
a pair of pumps. I got some AIs, you know what I'm saying? I got some joints that I got. So, you know what I'm saying? So, but my hat collection.
You got a pair of pumps?
Yeah, I got a pair of
like pump them ups.
That's crazy. Yeah, let's see. Clean that up for me.
I was just making sure. I was just making sure that okay. So
you know what size pumps it would be if I wear 15. So them pumps is like size 18s. If they was the other types of pumps.
I'm not gonna ask you how you know that ratio. But yeah, man, you were saying about these clothes, like, so you're not like, I'ma only wear Nike. No. You're like, I will wear like Nike, but then I'm gonna come back the next day with the all Adidas fit. Is that what you're saying?
Everything. Don't have an Adidas track fit on without no shell toes or Adidas. Like, you can't wear those with Nike.
But you would wear like an Adidas track fit one day and then come in with the Nike sweatsuit the next day.
Listen, I'm equal opportunity. And hey, listen, let me tell you something.
You know what, man? I gotta be honest. I find that more offensive. So wait, you gonna try to convince me? You Nike down? You Mr. Nike? You got a Nike tech on? You Nike squad? And then the next day, I see you out here wearing enemy colors?
Yeah.
I would be less offended if you just had the wrong sock on one day. That's actually false flagging. No.
Listen,
if you I can't stand with that, bro. I can't rock with that.
You get that off. You know why? Until they give you that deal, until you get an exclusive deal. Even Kobe Bryant at one point in time wore Jordans. Now, if you want to get neutral, throw you some Timbs on. If you ain't got no Adidas joints, just throw some Timbs on. Like them gloss over a lot of things. You could wear Timbs with anything. They just work. But don't come out here with that, like, especially back when people was wearing Nike socks. You can't have Pumas on and Nike socks. That's nasty work. That's nasty.
You can just make sure you hide the label.
you gonna fold yours down?
Yeah. Yeah. Hey.
Ain't gonna catch
me. Nah. Look at that. Browns had a draft go by. It was a nice little smooth draft, right? We didn't do nothing too crazy. We weren't gonna. There is this expectation by some fans, and like I've been seeing them in my comment section, being furious at the Browns for not being aggressive. When I'm like, what you want them to do? Like, what do you really want them to do? Like, it's not like this is a team that might be good. Like, this is a team that we saw be very good last year. Like, they've been aggressive for what they could do, right? Jerry Jeudy. We complain about the most aggressive thing that the Browns have done, right, in the last 3 years, which is Deshaun Watson. But then this year, I'll be hearing people like, we weren't aggressive enough. We needed to trade this guy and do this. And then these same people want me to trade Greg Newsome.
I think when they mean aggressive, they want to do it big. They want their moves to be on the front page, big news. Like,
I just feel like they want something to get excited about right now. Yes. Like, but it don't even matter if that thing will be like good for the team. They just want to get excited about something because they used to getting excited about like a first round pick or something like that. And look, Michael Hall, you might get excited about him in a year or two. But that is a 20-year-old prospect, right? Like the thing is with a dude like him, there's a distinct possibility that if he stayed at Ohio State another year or two, because he's 20, he could have been one of the best 10 players in the draft by the time he came out if he stayed in college longer.
There's a good chance he probably would have.
You're taking him early when he was not that. But you're betting on that being something that could happen. And if you hit on that, we're going to be throwing him in the pile with Grant Delpit and JOK and DeJuan Jones and Martin Emerson of dudes who did not go in the first round that you forget did not go in the first round because they sure feel like first round picks.
Yeah. I think sometimes, they just, at this point, they just want like, your boy Andrew Barrett to be like, they want him to stack weapons on top of weapons on top of weapons. You're like, man, is we going to war anytime soon? Like, I'll get. Listen, I'm going to take a little credit for it. I'm a above the top, over the top guy when it comes to the moves I like to make. I want all playmakers. I want all top of the line. I want everything. You know what I'm saying? I don't even care. I'm a layaway kid. Back in the day, I used to have to wait on everything. I don't want to wait on nothing now. So when that kind of, some people, right.
Can you just blame your impatience?
Not impatience.
Or your socioeconomic
conditions? That was the thing, bro. I'm very, like, when you talk to my wife, she'd be like, man, you are unreasonable. I'm like, I was reasonable for 16 years under that tyrant, my mother. She was shout out to my mom. She does a lot. She gave me a lot.
That's wild. That's wild. You like, yeah, man. you ain't patient. Why you ain't patient? Well, one time I had to put something on layaway.
And that changed your whole perspective. Like, you seeing people like the
you
fact
ain't never wanted to wait no more. Like, you was out there at OU playing football like, hey dog, I don't ever want to go back to waiting.
Never. Like you can you imagine the pain that you see as a young kid when you see other kids going into the store and just coming out with the merchandise? You like, what is this tomfoolery? You can get that the same day.
My dad tried to get away with giving me a Christmas gift from Save a Lot one time. Like, I grew up with that level. Like my dad, he would get you what you need. You know what I mean? He worked hard. He get you what you need, but he was not trying to get you what you wanted all the time.
Not at that all, one, not
right?
That one game.
So that, like, it's interesting how that developed you to be very impatient, where it's like, for me, I'm like, you know what, man? I just gotta wait.
To me, it get like it and it trickles down to like my Browns fandom. A lot of Browns fandom, we have been on the proverbial layaway program for 40, 50, 60 years. We've been, well, the quarterback is coming. The quarterback is coming. That's why they be impatient with Baker or Deshaun Watson. Hey, we got these draft picks. We got all these Christmas presents we about to open. And you open a Christmas present and your mom forget to get the batteries. You like, what? How I'm gonna play with this toy car with no batteries?
See, that's the worst. That is absolutely that brought me back. Like where you and every store is closed, so you can't get no batteries.
Oh, y'all don't know. Before Walmart, you fall out. This
to the kids today. Imagine you got an iPhone and then you didn't have nothing to charge that shit with. You just looking at it for like 3 days. The 3 days, by the way, that you were gonna play with the iPhone the most because school come back. Oh,
give me that.
You ain't gonna give me no triple batteries. Like, just you used to have to just make sure you bought the batteries, like just in case you need the batteries.
And don't let it be a V8 battery. You them V8, them long laptop batteries that you put in this stuff, it's crazy, man. Like you just be hurt, man. But look, I say this, like, you know, some of these players that you got for the Browns, like, you know what I'm saying, these are depth type guys and upside type picks, right? So, you know, last year, you had a bunch of people getting injured up front. You lost most of your starting line. And now instead of putting, I used to call him Fosnote, or you know, or I used to call him Haagen-Dazs, or you putting Nick Harrison them dudes up. I'm gonna take the fact that you could throw Luke Whippler in possibly at center if Pochi goes down. Now you got a guy, you know what I'm saying, that Zenter that you could put at a guard if somebody go down, right? Or Harris, Hall Jr., if you want to use him as a guy. Let's see what his pass rush look like on the third down. We ain't actually been taking on double teams up, but hey, let's start sneaking him into the rotation and rushing him at 3 technique. So these guys you know, to me, I think people is upset that they didn't get a receiver. We've been told this was one of the best receiver drafts of all time, or we've heard a lot about it. And so I think that people had a lot of expectations that was the pick that was going to come out of it. But, you know, at the end of the day, I mean, it's kind of difficult for a receiver to kind of sneak into that rotation when, you know, they're going to give an opportunity to Cedric Tillman. They're still going to give David Bell an opportunity. It's not like they're going to give up on those guys. So they just added Thrash some speed to the room and see what he can turn out to be.
Well, I think it's also difficult to get those big splashes in the draft when you don't have space for a big splash anymore, right? Like if you look at the Browns roster, one area, like even left tackle where you could say that might have been the Browns' most immediate need, it's not a need till next year, right? So you could even do that in the first round next year if you really wanted to. Or you could try to tackle it in free agency or something like that, right? They don't really have these big glaring spots. Like I know people expected a running back. There was no room for a running back on this roster. They're already going to roster 4 of them more than likely. Like there's not room for a 5th there. Wide receiver, you just pointed out how there wasn't that much space there for a wide receiver. There's no space for somebody to step up at tight end. We already got David, Jordan Akins behind him. And then you flip it to the defensive side and it's like, I could argue one of the rooms where there was some room to make a splash was defensive tackle, because we really don't know who's going to start next to Dalvin Tomlinson yet. We feel like it's going to be a rotation of guys, and Michael Hall does have a chance to make a significant impact as one of those rotational guys, and I think he will make an impact there because his traits do translate over to the NFL because he's just a really athletic, really quick guy. He needs to get more consistent, super young, but I think he will because, again, he's 20. No 20-year-old in the history of 20-year-olds has ever been consistent. Like, no. Just
I'm trying to figure out how he's 20, and I'm like, dang, bro, did you start school when you was 16 or something, man? Like, because I remember 20. Him playing a couple years back. So, like, he's 20 now. So he was doing that against Notre Dame when he was 18. Is that what he was doing, or how it was working? I mean,
I'm gonna look up his birthday. He was born in 2003.
Man, dang, bro, we getting old. You born in 03? Bro.
Yeah, his birthday's in a month, so he'll be turning 21 pretty soon here. So he's at the late stage of 20, but he is 20. Went to Streetsboro. 2003, he was out there playing for Streetsboro High School.
He was born in 2003.
Yes.
So that means
He was. You were pretty much like in college, right?
I was knee deep in college. I went on my recruiting visit in '99.
Wow.
Like, damn. Like I was knee deep into college. Listen, I had about 160 credit hours about 2003. I was rolling.
Woo. Yeah, I didn't know you graduated before Lee when it came out.
Oh yeah, listen, listen, before 07, all that listen. Listen, in 2003, I was in NCAA football, the video game.
Wow. On PS2, on PS1?
PS1. No, PS2. PS2.
There was two versions out.
2000, yeah, they kept the first
two versions. They had two versions.
It was on
PS2,
but yeah, like, so, you know me, man, look, the Browns are the position where we're unfamiliar with, right? And I think we just got to get comfortable with being in this type of position where your roster, you're now signing your guys that are free agents, you know, the guys that are in their second or third contract. You're drafting guys to be depth pieces or flyers. Like, hey, let's see if this guy could turn out to be something. To be honest with you, like you mentioned, all these positions, guys is hard pressed to make this squad unless they mythically change the rosters to 53 to like 60 or something. Ain't no positions. Look, you know, everybody in the secondary is back. All of them, the safeties, the everybody, all of them is back. You know, there may be a couple positions at linebacker, but if you're gonna play that linebacker position, you got to play special teams.
All them guys are back too, and like back for like a year or two.
Yeah, like under some money.
That makes so much sense that he is 2003, because I was wondering why he said his favorite. He grew up in the saddest era of Cleveland. Like, I think I grew up in a pretty sad era, but at least I had Josh Cribbs, right? Yeah. Like you know, when you 12, that's when you really get into it, right?
Yeah.
And I'm just thinking, when Michael Hall was 12, he was getting hype about Trent Richardson and Johnny Football. Oh,
yeah. But you know, when Manziel came out, like that,
he was charged up.
That's wow. We just talked about beef earlier. Charged up. That was the hottest diss record at the time, right?
Charged up was the one that he had to drop back to back to make.
Yeah, then he tried. Yes. Yeah, like he gave you charged up, then get you back. But here's the thing, though. Like back then, you know, we was only doing splash picks. Q. That's all we was doing. Like we was like, look, let's go out there and get Trent Richardson. Let's not act like Trent Richardson wasn't one of the coldest running backs that Cats had saw for a while at Alabama. He was just doing what he wanted to. Johnny Football was doing whatever he wanted to. And when we got him in it was just, yeah.
I mean, Mark Ingram was before him, right? But Trent Richardson is going to be one of them dudes that's going to be impossible to talk about, because it was more about how you felt, right? And people like Trent Richardson because Mark Ingram was a more cerebral runner, and Trent Richardson was like watching somebody throw a D battery at people. Like, that's what it was like watching Trent Richardson play football. Was just, you know, when your toddler gets on like one of the little toy, like not your toddler, a toddler gets on a toy little bulldozer and just starts smacking into shit.
Oh, you just
and they and you're like, what are you doing? That's what it was like to watch Trent Richardson.
And he kind of had that second back syndrome. Like, we always liked that, like the first back, he loosened guys up. You know, he getting into tough carries, and then all of a sudden, you like the second back come in, you like, oh, he going to the house. Oh, you just like because the second back come in fresh.
I'm gonna bring a reference out here I know you haven't heard in a while. It was like when Cannabis was on all them features back in the day.
Cannabis?
Yes.
Let's talk about the mic on my arm.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. You get Cannabis, right? You didn't want to hear an album from Cannabis, but you know what? Nah. And Cannabis on that feature, man, listen, you skip it through everybody to get to that Cannabis feature, right? Man. Because that's what it was. That's what Trent Richardson is football's Cannabis, right? It was hot for a minute. And then we found out the brother couldn't read. Like, it was what it was. Like,
LL came out of nowhere, destroyed him on his own on the same track.
And Jim Brown played the role of LL in this situation.
And you was like, and then listen, they was gonna come out. They just shelved him. It was like, listen,
hey, he dropped the first album and did it. He was dropped before the next one was even considered. And look, Trent Richardson dropped that first season. He was gone by season 2, and that's Trent Richardson. Trent Richardson, for those of you who remember, which might be 10 people. And I think I'm being generous with that. It is the rise and fall of cannabis. That is his NFL.
Shout out! This is Emmy award winning right now. We just had a whole show that talked about beef, and that went all the way through this. This is one single. This is one stream of consciousness, and for those who understand it, you should really appreciate this because you're not going to get this anywhere else. You're just not. You're not. Yeah. You're just not. Sorry.
That Trevor, but yeah, Michael, that's what we were talking about. Michael Hall, grew up, and those were the Browns that like he had to watch, and now he gets to play for the Browns that are probably worth playing. But yeah, he's just super young. I guess it's the whole point there. At 2003, ooh,
do you think
that was, you know what, G? That's the first person I've ever seen drafted. I looked at him and I had this very old man reaction that you might have had before. Whew, that's a baby. Okay.
Yeah, like
that is a child. Like,
a very strong baby.
I don't want to be too negative about him during the season. I'm like, that he not old enough to be out here taking these licks.
He can't, think about it. He can't go drink no beers, bro.
Yeah, I'm like, that is who was the first person the Browns brought in where it made you realize just how old you had become and how much younger these players are than what you are?
It wasn't even the brought in. It's the guys who retire. Like the dudes like James, like what's his name? Andrew Hawkins. Like, that be in the media, right? Nate Burleson. Like, Nate Burleson, I'm watching you play, right? Like, and you've been on TV. Like, I didn't see you be done so quick. Nate Burleson that made his way to Good Morning America. Like I said, that's the greatest come up I've ever seen. You were once here catching footballs from no-name gangsters, and you are now on with Robin Roberts. I say, dang, this is.
Hey, the one thing Nate Burleson in his playing career knew how to do was work the room. Right, because every time Nate would come somewhere, he started working that room, and he worked that room. He'd be doing the Nickelodeon shows, he'd be doing Good Morning America, he'd be doing it all. He'd be working it. But yeah, I guess you're right there. When you see, like, Joe Thomas doesn't make me feel old because, like, Joe was like the first player that I remember the Browns like drafted, and it was like a big deal that they drafted him, because you really get into sports when you're like 10 to 12. Like, you can be a fan before that, but you don't know what you know. Like, you haven't grasped why a left tackle is important until you reach that age, more than likely. The Browns player that retired that makes me feel old has to be, I'm trying to think. You know who it is? It's watching Russ right now. That is making me feel so old, is watching Russ right now.
Because you remember when he was good?
And it feels like that shit was so long ago.
Oh, it was.
Like it feels like it's almost been half a decade since he's been good.
Yeah. And
like, I remember when, like,
since they won that Super Bowl in New York when it was cold. That's the last time I remember him.
That was 2014, right?
Yeah.
That was 10 years ago.
That's a whole nother marriage ago.
Yeah, like that. That is a hell of a way to keep that time. But
I was getting controlled by a whole nother woman at that point in time.
All right, but yeah. That's just wild to me that 2014 is like, honestly, when I think of 2014 and I think of how long, like Odell's cooked, Aaron Donald's retired.
That Aaron Donald move made me that hit home.
Aaron Donald's retired. I remember Aaron Donald. I went around my dorm room telling everybody in the world that would be the #1 overall pick in the draft, or at least he should be, because his pit take was incredible.
That's the first time you really was like, listen, you peons, I understand way more. You don't see what I see.
I had bad takes after that. I was still in college, but that was the first take. I was like, nah, that's gonna be the dude, and nobody believed me, and that ended up being the dude when it comes to Aaron Donald. But yeah, because again, just like a 40-minute cut up on YouTube that you can still watch. By the way, I know a lot of us grew up watching that Trent Richardson "I'm a Boss" tape, right? With the "I'm a Boss," the Meek Mill song on it, and we got hype.
You got that 40. I got a 30-minute tape. It got Von. It's 20. I got Von Miller, RG3, and Julio Jones. Now I hit, and Patrick Peterson. I hit on 3 out of the 4. That RG3 one, that was trash. It's
well,
still
look,
up there
man, RG3 was not bad until he was bad.
Yeah,
and it's not his fault he was bad, because when we watched RG3 them first couple of years, we were like, oh,
it's gonna be different.
He might be better than Luck, right? But Andrew Luck being a distant memory is something that makes me feel old.
And I was going like, is there any way in God's green earth that they can talk themselves into Andrew Luck being a Hall of Famer?
Nah, they can't do it. He ain't played long enough.
It's crazy. Like, I was trying to think of, I'm like, listen, y'all better not. But then Terrell Davis got in.
If we are going to sit here and seriously debate whether Cam should be in the Hall of Fame or Mike Vick should be in the Hall of Fame,
Donovan McNabb,
like if those dudes can't get in, he definitely can't. Like he can't get in. Like, so I think writers will try to make it happen, right? And I think he'll eventually get in because they like him, but.
A lot.
Yeah, but ultimately, like, there's no way you can justify putting him in. But Mike ain't got in yet, right?
Vic?
Yeah.
Mike Vick ain't even in the Hall of Very Good yet. For some people.
That's nuts. That's nuts, yeah.
That's a whole...
Mike ain't even made a vote for the Hall of Fame yet. So, like, if he can't even, which is Eli Manning got in. But
that's crazy.
That's wild. But if Mike can't even get on the voting list, dog, Andrew Luck belongs nowhere near that. That's no disrespect to Andrew Luck. It's just,
you do know this is a whole 30-minute. That's a whole 30-minute time. But all we need is the graphics and somebody to play it along, and we could just take sides on this, bro. That's crazy.
I gotta get you up out of here before we out here talking for another hour, man. But G, appreciate you. Appreciate your hats. Wait, when's the last time you got to talk about cannabis? Like
ever. Like I got to talk about a whole lot of things, including my last marriage. That that was awesome. I never thought I was gonna mix all those things, man.
Yeah, man. We really brought you back to the 90s today.
Yeah, we ready to go. My heyday.
If you got a cannabis t-shirt you can still fit in, you should bust it out, for TV one day. Let them know you still remember. You remember. Okay?
By the way, I remember back when they used to blur out the Chronic on TV. Speaking of cannabis, they used to blur it out for Dr. Dre and Snoop, right?
It is nuts because cannabis had nothing to do with cannabis.
Not at all.
That's not music you want to smoke to.
At all.
He don't even be talking about. He be talking about don't do it in those songs.
Bro, he be like clean fun rap. Like, man, he's like the gangster MC Hammer, but MC Hammer
he is the originator. He is the originator of the lyrical spiritual. But y'all have lyrical spiritual miracle. Yeah, right. Like,
oh, this is why why these shows. Yeah, and it's
But y'all have a great day. Have an even better night. Peace.